Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a good day. Now, having completed my outline using freehand, I'm going to create my first layer by shading through with my HB pencil. I sometimes use charcoal powder and brush or graphite powder and brush to create my first layer. But right now, I'm using HB pencil to create my first layer on the upper lip. Then I will then show you how to use charcoal powder with brush to create first layer on the lower lip. Now watch as I go. I do this very diligently with less pressure in order to avoid shines when using graphite. So creating first layer helps your object to look more realistic and lifelike. That is in 3D, more in 3D than in flat. You have to be very patient when dealing with drawing like this. So just keep in touch and watch as I go, as I shade in layers. If you are watching this right now, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, subscribe my YouTube channels, and also hit the notification button so that you can get notified on any new uploads, and also share to others that may find this tutorial useful. So after I finish shading like this, I pick my brush, then try to blend, right? Blend together. So I'm currently using A4 paper, which is not good at all. However, the techniques matters. So when trying to recreate this type of drawing, I would recommend you use either glossy paper, or you have I use glossy paper most of the time in my drawing. So glossy paper is very a bit cheaper and affordable. Then, or at least use cardboard paper. So this will help you to know if your drawing is becoming more realistic and the texture is becoming lifelike. So after this is done, it all depends on you if you want to go further. Now this is a charcoal powder. I want to use it to create my first layer on the lower lip. So you see the same techniques, the same objective, but different techniques. So this time I'm using brush and powder to create my first layer on the lower lip. But on the first lip, on the upper lip, I use graphite pencil. So most artists don't know how to make use of the brush, but I think the brush is more better to blend. Although, however, it all depends on you, your techniques. You can either use both. Sometimes some artists use both techniques on their drawings. Some artists use only charcoal on their drawing, 100% charcoal on their drawing, while some artists use 100% graphite on their drawing, and some artists also use both on their drawing. So it all depends on you. But you should know the concept, the basics of drawing, of achieving realistic drawing like this. So once I'm done with my shading of my first layer, I look at I then observe the darkest part of the drawing. In this case, the mouth between the lips is the darkest, as apart from the teeth. In drawing, there is no part of a drawing that is totally white. Even the teeth is not white, so that is why I have to also create first layer on the teeth. So I'm exempting the mouth where we have the darkest part, because it is totally dark. I won't be creating layers on it. Rather, I'll just apply my charcoal pencil directly to make it very, very dark. I'm using less tools on my drawing here for this tutorial, but there are recommended tools to use. So I'm just kind of improvising right now. However, the techniques or the basics you need to know is what you are seeing on this video. So this darkest part, I have to go whenever you are dealing with drawing like this. Always observe the darkest part. Start with the darkest part. It helps you to create tones, tone value, or contrast in your drawing, and also observe where light is hitting the image, the direction of light. It also helps you to understand your tone value as well. So when I'm using charcoal pencil, I do it very diligently, careful, not to smudge into areas I don't want charcoal, or I don't want to be very dark on the drawing. You also have to be very patient when doing this. And while you're doing this, always make sure you're looking at your reference image so that you know what you're doing, you know which part you're to shade very dark and which part you're to shade very light. I'm using a very soft charcoal pencil. We have the very hard. Okay, we have hard charcoal pencil. We have normal, and we have soft. We also have extra soft. So I'm using extra soft. So when you're dealing with this kind of drawing, tend to use soft charcoal pen or extra soft charcoal pencil so I can be able to blend it very well to ensure that you don't have a very sharp edge when blending. You can see how careful I'm working with my charcoal pencil. All right. So you pay attention, watch as I go around the drawing. Now once this is done, I'll then pick my brush. I'm supposed to make use of the Q-tips, which is the cutting board, or a blending stone, but I don't have that at that moment. So I'm making use of the brush, a very thick, soft brush. In this case, you have to brush very hard. All right, very hard. Then you can blow off extra powder in order not to affect the other part of the drawing. Then brush very thoroughly to ensure you don't have any kind of white spots. It should be totally black, or dark rather. If you have smaller brush, yeah, it's fine. You can also use that on your on shading this particular part because this drawing is very small. So once this is done, you can also go again to make it, because once you brush, the darkness reduces. So you can either go again with your charcoal pencil, then brush until you achieve your preferred value. If you notice this drawing, this charcoal area, the edges are usually very fine and blurry, unlike when it's very sharp. In this case, it makes your drawing look more realistic. That is, you are coming from a darker part to a lighter area, so that transit should be there, slightly there, not too very sharp, unless the reference image shows otherwise. So in my reference, the lower lip is a bit the upper lip, the lower part of the upper lip is more darker than the upper part, because the light hits the top than the inside. So I begin from the darker part. I always begin from the darker part. You keep that in mind. So whenever you are dealing with your drawing, you always shade from the darker to the lighter area. In this case, you can build values. So watch as I go, as I shade from dark to light, very diligently, slowly.